Hi Dheeraj, how can we help you today?
Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
So I need to actually give a special mention to you actually,
Okay.
because you host the show really well, and you add a lot of your aura adds a lot of value to the show actually.
Thank you so much. Very kind of you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, before asking my query, I have a small concern regarding the shape of the stock market actually.
Okay.
Is there a huge concern regarding the further progress of the market? Because, the biggest groups in the country are facing a lot, like regarding the Adanis, the Ambanis, and then groups like Tata Group, and then Murugappa Group, and even Larsen and Turbo. Like all the companies, I have heard something regarding this, like bruised blue chips have been happening in India. So there is a lot of pressure regarding the selling of FIs, and this is being a huge impact there.
Okay.
So furtherly, if the companies perform really well by the next quarter, from there can we see the upside, or will this be a long-term thing going on, or what's actually the concern is my point, because people like me, I spend my entire time on the stock market.
Okay.
A day, my entire work is from morning to evening. I do trade. And
so I will ask your question, Dheeraj. So, but then I get it. And a lot of people have that question and have that worry. So we will address it. But do you have a specific question? It's on Adani Ports, right?
Yes, actually, Adani Ports too, sir. Actually, I have a lot of respect to Adani, Mr. Gautam Adani, sir, and I'm a huge fan of the entire group. But in specific, I like Adani Ports really well. The recent quarter results also have been really good, top notch. But why there is no from the Adani Group in specific? There are a lot of companies from cement space, like ports, like Adani Enterprises and ACC, like Adani Power, and but not even a single segment there is an uptrend from Adani Group.
So what you're asking is whether to hold for the long term and what the prospects are on the upside. All right, I got your question, Dheeraj, and let me go across to Samir on this one. Samir, so essentially what he's talking about is something that a lot of people have asked about, which is why are the blue chips getting battered so much? And this is par for the course. You've seen so much selling, and foreign institutional investors did have quite a bit of holding in the blue chip companies, and so therefore obviously where would they sell? They would sell blue chips, and they have been apparently deploying in the broader end of the spectrum. But specific question on Adani Ports, a lot of brokerages coming through and saying this is a high conviction buy at this juncture, valuations are looking attractive, earnings are looking good. Would you hold for the long term? Would you buy?
Okay, so let's address the first part first quickly. Yes, you're right. The foreigners have been selling and they have the largest holding in the blue chips. So obviously the selling is coming there, and that is why we are seeing the prices coming off a bit. But you also got to realize that valuations have moved up quite a bit, right? So, if you invest in the equity markets, you want to see return on capital. You want to see your stock price going up. What had happened is from where the stocks were trading, it was going to be very difficult to generate a return of about 15 to 17%, which is what you need when you're taking risk and investing in the equity markets. Because if you're getting a GSEC at 7%, you want to at least get minimum 12 to 15% return when you're taking risk. And that probably was not available at the higher levels. And then the FI selling came in, plus the US interest rates went up. So for them, it kind of became a situation where I was getting 5% risk free if they invest in the US, plus if the Indian currency depreciates by 4%, which has been the tradition, 4 to 5% a year, you were getting kind of 10% returns so you needed something much more in India, which was not available. So that is why we've seen the selling by the FIs. And my guess is we are quite close to the end of the selling. Hopefully, I'm of the opinion it's quite close, but I'm hoping that it's sooner rather than later. And once that happens, what you will see is stability, and the markets then slowly seeing accumulation and going up. So to address that, I think we are closer to the closer to the end of the fall at the moment. So Dheeraj, don't be too panicked on that. Now, coming to the direct question on Adani Ports, yes, it's a very good company. It's got 14 ports that it manages. It's got ICTs, it's got logistics arms, it's got the dredging part of the business. It's got quite a bit of activity. But I'm not convinced on the valuations. As you said that people are coming out with buy reports, that's fair. That's their view. My view is valuations still remain a bit punchy. This is a business that depends a lot on exports and imports. And if Donald Trump is going to be putting a lot of restrictions on exports and imports, and India's exports to US get affected, I'm sure it's going to hurt them profitability as well, because the volumes may decline or they may not grow at the same pace. And then these punchy valuations may not be justified. So like I always say, Adani Ports is probably one of the best companies in the Adani Group, something you cannot ignore. But I would like to say closer to 750, 800 is where my comfort level comes for buying, because I want to make a return on capital. So I would wait till that point to add on more. If you are holding, stay put in it, because it's a great company. But expect relatively lower returns from this point of time over a period of 3.
All right, fair. The standard disclaimer, of course, this is Adani Ports that we just spoke about. It is part of the Adani Group, and NDTV Profit and the NDTV Group are owned by the Adani Group. Dheeraj, I hope that answers your question, and essentially, I hope that is the case as well, what Samir just pointed out in terms of nearing the end of the selling. We have been talking about 22,800 on the Nifty 50, but if we have broken below that, let's see how we end the session today and the week, in fact. But you saw the 1 month time